Crimson Tide rolled in this past Saturday and washed our land sharks right out of the water.
Coming up, Sports Watch reporter Tori Reese will tell us how the Rebels lost momentum after striking first in the football game.
Good evening and thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Carson King.
And I'm Matthew Hindley.
Many were in town for the Alabama-Ole Miss game, and it seemed to have affected crime in the Oxford area. NewsWatch
reporter DeAndrea Turner is in studio to let us know exactly what happened over the busy weekend. DeAndrea?
Thanks, guys. This weekend, Oxford Police and University Police Departments were busy responding to multiple incidents, ranging from shots fired to bar fights.
Oxford was not only full of football fans this weekend, but also high crime. Several fights broke out, including one person ended up in the hospital. According to the police, several fights broke out at the Lyric, and a fight at the Annex Bar ended with one male unconscious on the floor. EMS transported him to the hospital. Janice Hodges was there and says it was a night gone wrong.
Initial reaction was, I need to get out of here. It escalated to something that was too much, you can say. It just wasn't the best atmosphere for what was intended to happen that night.
A rebel alert was also sent out on Saturday evening saying police responded to shots fired off campus near Hawthorne Road. The area was clear around 8:30 with no casualties. The night did not end when the square was shut down. There was another fight around 4 a.m. at Huddle House on Jackson Avenue. People took to social media and shared the video, which gained over 890 views. Chief of Police says that this was one of the largest crowds Oxford has seen in a while, and every person the force had was available. But this did not stop all of the incidents. Although crime was high, Hodges says that the high police presence made her feel safe.
I was walking back to the car from the game, and they had cops along the road. So that made me feel safe that there was someone out there, knowing that there was a shooter out there as well. So
Both OPD and UPD meet after each home game to review the weekend's previous events and put plans in place to create better and safer environments for future events.
Thanks, DeAndrea. Well, a car struck an Ole Miss student on campus in a hit and run late Friday night. The accident took place near the intersection of Northgate Drive and Sorority Row. The student was found severely injured and was transported to the hospital. The UM Associate Vice Chancellor for Strategic Communications and Marketing, Jim Zook, said the investigation is still ongoing and there's no information that has been released since the statement on Sunday.
Well, if you didn't know, Ole Miss football fell to Alabama this past Saturday. Sports Watch reporter Tori Reese was there to break down what went wrong.
I'm here in the aftermath of what was going to be a hyped-up game between Ole Miss Rebels taking on the #1 Alabama Crimson Tide. And if you weren't tuned into the first minute of the game, you would not have believed that Ole Miss led 7-0 starting out. Jordan Tomlin was hot out of the gate. He passed a 75-yard touchdown bomb to DK Metcalf, and after that, the wheels just started falling off. They missed out on some opportunities. Once Alabama knotted up, they really took control of the game and really submitted why they are the #1 team in the nation, led by Tua Tagovailoa. They had 516 yards of total offense. He was phenomenal. He had 198 yards as well as 2 touchdowns and even ran for 47 yards. Led by Jerry Jeudy as well. He had 3 catches for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. They had 2 backs that had over 9.8 yards of carry. And Matt Luke said they were dominated all facets of the game. The Rebels would end up falling 62-7. Matt Luke also spoke about they can't let this game beat them twice. They'll try to recover as they take on Kent State at home next Saturday. Live from the Vaught, Tori Reese, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Coming up later in the show, Sports Watch reporter Annie Mapp will tell us how Coach Luke plans to bounce back this week against Kent State.
Current Ole Miss student with a disability is asking for compassion when it comes to service dog policies. Last week, her service dog was banned from the classroom after allegedly being disruptive, excessively whining, and wandering around. The student wanted her dog trainer to come in and monitor the situation, but her request was denied. We reached out to the Ole Miss Disability Center, but they did not clarify the service dog policies. She hopes that the university will be more empathetic in these types of situations in the future. And the Mississippi Department of Public Safety says it won't buy from Nike anymore. After the recent Nike ads featuring Colin Kaepernick, Mississippi's Public Safety Commissioner said Saturday that the athletic apparel maker is unpatriotic and fails to support those in uniform. It's not clear how much gear the state police agency buys from Nike, but the department has bought shoes, shirts, and tactical training uniforms from the company. Commissioner Marshall Fisher told the Associated Press, "As Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety, I will not support vendors who do not support law enforcement and our military."
Well, if you have always wanted to look into a giant telescope and pretend to be an astronomer, well, now is your time to shine. The Ole Miss Physics Department is offering a series of open houses in Kennan Observatory throughout the semester. The first one took place last night, where students and families were able to see the Moon, Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars. The event is free for all to attend. You can visit the Ole Miss Physics Department website to catch their next open house that you won't want to miss. For the past few weeks, some Ole Miss students have been campaigning for this year's personality elections. NewsWatch reporter Thomas Goris is in studio to give us an in-depth look at those running for two top positions. Thomas?
Thanks, Matthew. Tomorrow you can cast your vote for the personality elections on campus, and we thought we'd introduce those running for the top two positions, Mr. and Miss Ole Miss. To kick things off, we'll start with Miss Ole Miss. First up is Hannah Bullock. She's an integrated marketing communications major from Port Ageville, Missouri. Hannah is an orientation leader, an executive for the Ole Miss Big Event, and a member of the Column Society and Delta Gamma sorority. Her platform is to promote a love for campus and involvement among Ole Miss students. Jessie Lockett is a biology major from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Jessie is a member of the Ole Miss Panalytic chapter and serves as an orientation leader. She is also involved with Rebelthon, the Food Bank, and the Ole Miss Big Event. Jessie's platform is to ensure that all individuals feel loved and important. The final Miss Ole Miss candidate is Jessica Tran. Jessica is a biochemistry major from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Jessica is the president of the Ole Miss Active Minds chapter, a Big Event executive, and a Rebelthon morale captain, and the Honors College Senate student director. Jessica hopes to raise awareness about mental health issues on campus. Now we'll take a look at the four candidates for Mr. Ole Miss. Jarvis Benson is an international studies and Spanish major from Grenada, Mississippi. Jarvis is the Black Student Union president, sings for the Gospel Choir, an ASB senator, a Column Society member, and is involved with the Big Event. Jarvis is promoting access to affordable student housing for all students. Chauncey Mullins is a public policy and integrated marketing communications major from Tupelo. He is the IFC fraternity president, the ASB director of external affairs, a Lucky Day scholar, a Rebelthon morale captain, and a Column Society member. His platform is inclusion for all Ole Miss students. Mikhail Love is a public policy major from Jackson, Mississippi. He is the ASB senior class vice president, a Column Society member, a Big Event executive, and the ASB freshman council co-director. Mikhail is promoting love between students, the university, and the Oxford community. And the final candidate for Mr. Ole Miss is Mark Hubble, who is a marketing communications major from Oswego, Oregon. He is the chaplain of the IFC Fraternity Council, an Ole Miss ambassador, a Rebelthon morale captain, a member of the Column Society, and the Student Alumni Council. Hubble's campaign slogan is Ole Miss Always, and he hopes to promote a sense of community between Ole Miss students and alumni. Remember that you can cast your vote tomorrow for Mr. and Miss Ole Miss through your My Ole Miss portal. Voting ends at 5 p.m. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Thomas. Coming up, find out what Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh has been accused of and how this could derail his confirmation process.
We'll also take a look at what new market Coca-Cola might venture into. But first, Jessica Everett has your first look at the current conditions.
Thanks, guys. Taking a look at our weather headlines, we will see that the chance of rain will increase as the week continues. We will continue to have high humidity and hot temperatures will stick around for the week. Taking a look at our radar, you can see that currently right now there's not much in the forecast, but I will let you know on Storm Watch when the rain will increase.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
So, I'm kind of new here,
but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I, Krista, take you, Jamie, to be my wife.
When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said she won't be taking you in as a client.
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
And as Florence leaves the Carolinas, floodwaters and death toll keep rising. The storm, once known as Hurricane Florence, has killed 20 people, trapped hundreds, and made parts of Carolinas impassable. Forecasters say the worst flooding is yet to come.
The crisis in North Carolina continues.
Flooded homes and buildings, roads that resemble rivers, and rescue operations still underway. Catastrophic flooding from Hurricane Florence could last for several days in North Carolina, and even more rain is expected Monday, keeping first responders from reaching those who need help.
People still need to heed warnings. We're still having communities that need to be evacuated. There was a 3-story apartment building here that was just evacuated a few hours ago. We're not out of the woods yet.
There are at least 20 storm-related deaths in the Carolinas. Hundreds of thousands are customers still without power. And more than 15,000 people were in emergency shelters over the weekend in North Carolina alone. Further inland from the coast, flooded rivers and basins are compounding issues for state officials.
The danger is still immediate. Flood waters are rising as rivers crest, and they will for days.
In addition to officials and rescue workers, regular citizens are stepping in and helping out.
Water just started rushing in from everywhere.
Ashanti McNair is a maintenance worker at the Eastgate Crossing Shopping Plaza near Durham. This morning, water overflowed from a nearby creek and flooded the plaza, trapping several employees in one store. McNair says he and another worker helped get them out.
I guess they didn't know how fast the water was coming up because it was like a snap.
McNair's heroism, one example of the bravery and danger that exists throughout the state.
Now authorities plan to deliver supplies to Wilmington by air due to flooded roads. Evacuation orders are still being issued as rivers and dams continue to rise. And Super Typhoon Mangkhut made landfall in China late yesterday afternoon. More than 3 million people have been evacuated as the typhoon continues to wreak havoc across the region. The typhoon has left Hong Kong in tatters, killing 4 people with its winds of over 100 miles per hour. The storm has caused serious flooding as waves of nearly 10 feet slammed the coast. The typhoon hit hardest in the Philippines, where at least 54 people have been killed when the storm cut through the region. The storm has been called the strongest of 2018. You can expect a message from President Trump soon. The Federal Emergency Management Agency is testing a new warning system. The goal is to alert Americans about emergencies like severe weather and missing children. Most cell phone users will receive the alert Thursday afternoon. The message will be titled Presidential Alert, but will only indicate it's only a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. Major cell phone carriers including AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint will all participate. FEMA will also test the emergency alert system on radio and television stations Thursday.
Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh was accused of sexual assault yesterday. Christine Blasey Ford, his accuser, claims the assault occurred 36 years ago when the two were just in high school.
The reason she felt that he might inadvertently kill her is he had his hand over her mouth and she was having a difficult time breathing. And he is larger and he was pressing his weight against her and so inebriated he was ignoring the fact that she was attempting to scream and having a difficult time breathing.
President Trump has defended Kavanaugh, calling him one of the finest people he has ever known. Both Kavanaugh and his accuser have said they are willing to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell accused Democrats of bringing forth the allegations at the last minute when they have known about it for at least 6 weeks. Well, the fight against America's opioid epidemic continues. The U.S. Senate is expected to vote today on a proposed legislation that would increase the punishment for fentanyl distribution and trafficking. As of now, the package has support from both parties, and it would also give the U.S. Food and Drug Administration the authority to require specific packaging for opioids, as well as a push for research on non-addictive painkillers. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 63,600 people died from an overdose in the U.S. in 2016. 66% of those deaths involved an opioid. Well, Coca-Cola is considering making a move toward cannabis-infused drinks. In a statement Monday, the company said it is closely watching the growth of CBD, which is a non-psychoactive component in marijuana. Coke says CBD could be used as an ingredient in what it calls functional wellness beverages. The CBD has been used for medical purposes, including easing inflammation, pain, and nausea, and does not give the user a high. Both cannabis and CBD are still illegal in the U.S. under federal law, though a number of states have legalized it. Prohibition against CBD, however, is not strictly enforced.
Well, it was a beautiful and sunny day here in Oxford, but the warm and humid weather definitely has me ready for fall.
Me too, Carson. Jessica Everett will let us know if cooler temperatures are on their way in her extended forecast. Coming up next on Stormwatch.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
Did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
I got some Oxy after I hurt my neck. First, I took them to feel better. Then, I just kept taking them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
It sure was a hot day today in Oxford. Currently, we are at 89 degrees. There is a little bit of cloud cover outside with a light breeze. Looking on to our radar image, currently you can see there's not much activity going on. Now looking at our current all-around temperatures, you can tell that right now South Haven is at 91, Oxford at 89, Holly Springs at 90, Corinth at 88, and Tupelo at 91. Moving on to tomorrow's temperatures, you can see that Holly Springs is at 91, Oxford at 92, and also South Haven at 92, and Tupelo and Corinth at the warmest at 93. Moving on until tonight's forecast, you can see that we would drop down all the way to 68, but good news, there is no breeze outside.
Now moving on to tomorrow's forecast, it will again be another hot and humid day, but we will have some cloudy skies. Moving on until our 5-day forecast, you can see that Wednesday and Thursday we will still be at 92 with the lows in the lower 70s. But on Friday and Saturday, our chance of rain does increase to 50%, so make sure to bring your umbrella and a cute rain jacket. But also, Sunday will warm right back up to 87. Back to you at the desk.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Jessica. And after a down season in 2017, find out how the softball team is looking to bounce back.
And the Rebels may not have won the game Saturday, but find out what 2 SEC Nation analysts think about the Grove and Ole Miss's game day atmosphere. Up next on Sport Watch.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Welcome to Sports Watch. I'm Annie Mapp. Head coach Matt Luke is shifting gears after falling to Bama. He said he plans on fixing mistakes that were made this week.
Little things and execution errors when you play the #1 team in the country, they show up bigger. And so I thought, execution, but that starts with me, and it's my job to put a team on the field that executes. But there are no shortcuts. The only thing you can do is get up off the mat, go back to work, and fix the problems, and that's what we plan on doing. We have a great opportunity this week to try to go 3-1 against a really good Kent State team, and that's what we're looking forward to doing.
Ole Miss hopes to secure the bag against Kent State on Saturday. The game will take place at 11 a.m. in the Vaught. And your Ole Miss Rebels softball team began fall practice this past Friday. In 2017, the Rebels won the SEC tournament as well as their first regional game. But last year, the team fell short of expectations. What is it about this season that makes it so different from last? NewsWatch reporter Mary Claire Kelly has some answers.
This Rebels softball team is putting in hard work for the upcoming season. But this year, they are focused on more than just winning. Mike Smith has been the Rebels softball head coach since 2014. He's seen a lot of talented players in his previous years, but he says a strong team isn't solely based on talent.
I think if we gain the team piece, the team chemistry piece, the culture piece of what we're trying to do here to be more of a positive team, I think that's going to be kind of our biggest key aspect. It doesn't matter about the talent, it's about if we believe in each other.
Smith said that team camaraderie is the foundation for a successful season. This year, Brittany Finney is stepping up to the plate to be a leader for her Rebels.
Gosh, my motto for the year is be the senior you needed your freshman year. And that's not necessarily just for the freshmen, that's for everybody.
Finney sees a lot of promise for the 2019 Rebel softball season. She says their chemistry is unparalleled and they're ready to win.
You don't have to wait until spring to see your Ole Miss Rebels in action. Catch them on September 30th at the Ole Miss Softball Complex as they kick off their fall season. Mary Claire Kelly, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Ole Miss Baseball announced its scrimmage schedule for the fall today. Baseball fans will get 12 chances to catch a team before the real season action. Now, most of the games will consist of the Rebel teammates battling out against each other, but there are 2 occasions where they will play actual teams. On October 13th with Delta State and October 27th versus Little Rock. The Rebels will end the fall schedule with the Pizza Bowl on November 2nd, where the losing team will be responsible for buying pizza. Fans interested in catching the first game can do so on September 21st at Swayze. And we may not have won the football game Saturday, but fans were still excited from seeing SEC Nation analysts Marcus Spears and Tim Tebow in the Grove on Friday. The two spoke well about the Grove.
I mean, this is one of those special places. I guess when people talk about the folklore of college football, the Grove is a part of those conversations, whether it's nationally or just in the SEC, so it's always awesome to be here.
I love it. I think this is such a great atmosphere. I think you can see why over the last 5 years, they've been able to compete in recruiting. It's such a fun atmosphere. It's the campus is beautiful. Got a really cool stadium. They got a lot of tradition and passion. I love this place. It's a lot of fun to come back to.
That's all I have for you today in sports. Be sure to follow us at NewsWatch_UM to stay up to date with all things sports. Matthew, Carson, back to you guys at the desk. Thanks, Annie. Up next, find out how one little girl is trying to help victims of Hurricane Florence.
Stay tuned to see why she wants to be a force of nature for good.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
And Hurricane Florence has left thousands in need of help after moving along the Carolina coast this weekend. And one 4-year-old Chicago girl of the same name is trying to help the victims. Young Florence Wisniewski, also known as Flo, and her parents started a donation for people affected by the storm. The family says they've collected hundreds of dollars worth of donations.
Flo's preschool is collecting non-perishable items such as food, diapers, and toiletries. And the little girl's parents also put out a donation box on their front porch. The family will be taking donations up until Friday, which is young Florence's birthday. How sweet.
What a sweet little story. But Jessica, I know I'm from North Carolina and they're getting lots of rain, but what about here?
We definitely will receive some rain in the mid part of the week.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Well, that's all we have time for tonight. Thanks for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Carson King.
And be sure to join us here again tomorrow night at 5 and on NewsWatchOleMiss.com. I'm Matthew Henley. Thank you and good night.